All right, folks, time now to welcome an athlete that is so Nevada, it's a given that he'd be inducted into the Southern Nevada Sports Hall of Fame. His accomplishments and skills were honed here in the desert, starting at Green Valley High School and recognized on an international level as the best in the world at his particular skill. Yes, an Olympic gold medal in the 2016 games in Brazil. But his accomplishments don't stop there, as recently this athlete is turning the page from competitor to evil media member, as he'll hold the mic for the network who has the exclusive access of the Paris Olympics right here in the United States on NBC. I'm talking about none other than this man, Connor Fields. Hello, sir.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited. You're talking about the Olympics this summer. It's Olympic mania.
Yeah.
We're getting real close. Can't wait for it.
All right, so I really do wonder about this. When the Olympics come around, you start hearing the music and everything else. Like, what kind of goes through your brain there? You kind of getting a tingly sense that, you know, I need to be competing right now.
Well, this is going to be a really unique one for me. So the last time that I heard the music and I wasn't competing was in 2008.
Let's see.
The Beijing Olympics.
Okay, that's a long time ago.
I was 15.
Oh,
So
okay.
since then, the London 2012, Rio 2016, and then Tokyo 2021, I competed in all those. So when I would hear that jingle, the NBC song,
Yeah.
I would get anxiety and nerves and start getting worried because I was, the Olympics are coming up, I better be ready. But this time it's, that's my initial reaction. But then I'm like, oh, actually, hang on a second. No, I don't. I'm not competing.
I'm good.
But I do have some nerves this time in a different way, where now I am the voice of two sports, BMX racing and BMX freestyle. And I want to do my absolute best to share my passions with the world and with the United States viewership as best as I can. So it's a different type of nerves.
Well, congratulations on getting the gig. I mean, that's a big deal. I wonder about this, as far as like BMX freestyle, did you do much of that at all? Is that the
Tricks? Yeah,
that's what I thought, yeah.
So they made their Olympic debut in Tokyo. It was the first time that BMX freestyle, along with skateboarding and some other sports, made their Olympic debut.
Breakdance.
Yes, that's another one. I did a little bit of it as a kid.
Okay.
You know, I rode skate parks and I would ride jumps and I would do some tricks, and I could do some basic tricks. But when you get to a certain age, 13, 14, 15 time frame, you have to kind of specialize. And if you want to be a racer and you want to be successful as a racer, you have to dedicate your time to doing that.
Gotcha.
So the way I explain it to people now is that if my hands came off the bike, that was a mistake. It's not on purpose.
Yeah.
Like
You're
the
not trying to be
athletes
cool?
who are doing the freestyle now, yes.
Okay, I got you. All right. So you're going to be doing the commentating for the Olympics, which is very cool. When you talk about the actual jingle, have you heard the new jingle? Aren't the Roots doing like a?
Did they change it?
Someone told me that the Roots, you know the rap group.
That'll
the
help
Roots.
my anxiety if it's something I'm not used to. Maybe it'll make me like relaxed and excited now.
There we go. Okay. Yeah, I heard they changed the jingle, or they have like a new hip hop updated version of the jingle. If they have done that, you will soon hear that.
I can't wait.
Okay, there we go. Now, a lot of people probably can see this sitting on the desk here. Can you pick that up, please? We have the
this little thing?
This little thing?
This little thing?
This little thing. We got to get a shot of this. The Olympic gold medal, obviously from down in Brazil. I don't think I can say Brazil without saying Brazil.
You just got to throw it in there.
Yeah. So people I want to know this. What is it like standing on the podium, having this gold medal around your neck and hearing the national anthem? I would assume that that's got to be super duper emotional.
Yeah, it's almost hard to describe. It's almost difficult to put it into words. For me, when I think back to that moment, it's only 90 seconds, 2 minutes maybe.
Yeah.
Right? But your whole life is dedicated to achieving that moment. And you feel so many different things. So, on one hand, it's excitement. You're exhilarated. You just won the Olympics.
Yes.
Right? But at the same time, it's shock, because you imagined this moment in your mind every day for 5, 10 years. Right? So it's actually happening. So it's like, hang on, pinch me. Is this real? Is this actually happening? You're exhausted because you just finished competing.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm pretty sure my legs were cramping. Right? At the same time, you almost wish you could bring other people up there with you. Right? I'm in an individual sport. So I had a team, but they didn't compete with me. My team was my coaches, my training partners, my parents, everybody that was a part of the journey. And I wanted to bring them up. And I remember my dad was about 50, 60 feet behind me in the stands, and I could see him, and he was bawling his eyes out, and I could see him. And
as he should.
And I just remember, like, that man drove me to practice every day as a kid. He spent his paychecks on bike parts, right? Not things he might have wanted, but bike parts.
Yeah.
And I remember having this immense feeling of gratitude for all the people that helped me reach that moment. And even though I was the one standing there, I wish that they could stand there with me. And at the same time, I was trying not to cry because I didn't want to get the meme treatment.
Come on, you don't Michael Jordan up there?
The next Michael Jordan crying face, yeah.
You have an ugly cry face? No, go ahead.
Yeah, but no, it's an unbelievable, and then even just everything from you cross the finish line, you just realize you became Olympic champion.
Yes.
Right? Then you're immediately whisked away to go change into your podium uniform. Right? So Nike provides all the athletes with the uniform that they wear on the podium. So you're changing into this uniform, and as this is happening, all the coaches and staff are celebrating with you, right? But you just finished competing 5 minutes ago. You're out of breath, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And then you get whisked away to the podium ceremony, and you give me some water.
Quick.
Can I just get some water? Then you do that, and then immediately you go to this press conference, and you have a press conference, and then from there you go to, there's an entire protocol that they have mapped out where if you win a medal, they immediately take you to the media center. So then, from the podium, you go to the press conference, to the media center. It's interview. And you're like, can someone just give me some food?
Right? I'm starving.
100%. I wasn't eating for days before the event because I was so nervous.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
I couldn't eat breakfast this morning because it was the Olympics. And then I competed all day. I won. Somebody give me a taco, a cheeseburger or something, right? And then, from there, I don't think I stopped doing my responsibilities and things. I don't want to call it responsibilities. Things I got to do. Things I got to do for winning until like 10, 11 p.m.
Really?
Yeah.
And your race was at what,
I think it raced at 2 in the afternoon. Like it was just,
really that long?
Yeah.
When you finally have a chance to kind of
drug
exhale.
testing in there too, right? Because if you get a medal, you have to get drug tested.
You gotta get pricked and everything else.
And that was probably the biggest buzzkill of the whole thing. You got to sit there and go through the drug testing process. But a good problem to have, right?
Yeah.
You won the Olympics, but you're going through all these amazing, fun things, and they're like, all right, cool, come here. We got to do the drug testing part now.
So that begs the question, like, when did you get a chance to actually celebrate and then did you stay up like the entire night?
Yeah, I didn't sleep that night. I mean, when you're on that much of an adrenaline rush, you're not sleeping. We went to the Team USA house that night, and you get awarded, you get the opportunity to award somebody the Order of Ethos, which is if you get a medal, you get to nominate somebody to get an award, an official Olympic award.
Oh, wow.
So I got to nominate my coach, and he got a ceremony where he got his Order of Ethos, which was a blast. I got to see that was where I first got to see my
cool.
family who was down there to watch me compete.
That's the first time you got a chance to see them?
Yep.
Wow. So when the video that we saw when you're crossing the finish line and whatnot, you hug someone, that's not your dad or anyone else, that's...
Oh, that's down on the field of play. So you had to be credentialed. So that was my training partners who were also competing.
Okay.
My coach, the USA cycling director, like those were the people that were all part of the program.
Gotcha.
For years and years leading up to that. I got a brief moment through a fence where I got to see my dad.
Through a fence?
Because, they had to divide between the competitors and then the general public. But yeah, I didn't get to see all of them until after I'd gone through the podium, the press conference, the drug testing, the media, and going to do all the interviews and all that stuff. And I hope that people listening to this, when they're watching the Olympics this summer, and they're seeing these athletes doing all these interviews and doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
They haven't done anything but that since they competed.
They have not celebrated their Olympic gold medal at all.
Well, and the good news is you get the whole rest of your life to celebrate it.
Yes.
If I ever need a reason to celebrate, I won the Olympics, let's party, let's go.
Let's make this thing happen.
Yep. I should tell you this, though, real quick.
Okay.
I will tell you this.
No, please.
If you're going to win the Olympics and you're 23 years old.
Uh-oh, I know where you're going.
I can't think of a better place to come home to than Las Vegas.
This is true. Or a better place to win it. I mean, Brazil?
Yeah, the truth is we didn't actually do too much celebrating in Brazil.
Oh, really?
And I didn't care to because I said I'm going home to Las Vegas.
Yeah, because
it's not going to get any better.
This is true. People when they win NBA championships, whatever,
come here.
They come to Las Vegas. You're coming home to Las Vegas as like the king.
100%.
Okay, that is dope. That is really dope.
Yeah.
I do think that maybe people wonder this. I wonder this, but the fact that your family they can't get like a credential or anything like that to actually come. I don't know, like special pass to
There's different things you can do. So they can come in, you can apply for credentials, they can come in and visit you in the village, and you can obviously go see them in open areas, right?
Okay.
Like we're not locked in, but on the field of play, on the venue where you compete. So think about track and field.
Yeah.
They can't let everybody's mom and dad onto the track and field, right?
I guess not.
When you see the video of them going up to the stands and they visit their family
that's
in
why
the
they do
stands,
that.
right? But at the BMX track, we had a very clear line, like a fence line that was separating, where the general public was and where we were.
Gotcha.
Right? Because we're there to compete, right? We don't want a bunch of people in our business when we're trying to do what we're doing.
Yeah.
So that was the one place that I could go and chat with them to a fence, but they can't be on the field.
No, that actually makes sense. The whole track and field analogy, and the fact that like folks run up into the stands and try to do it. Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Now, the fact that you won the gold medal is a fantastic, life-changing event, obviously, but you have also suffered a horrific accident in Tokyo as well, in which you almost lost your life. So you go from winning a gold medal to almost losing your life in an accident. Like, what was that like to go through?
Yeah, I mean, I've had the highest of highs
and
the lowest of lows.
Yeah.
There's a 7th place in there too at the first Olympics I competed in, but that one is boring. We don't talk about that
one. I read that, but yeah.
So in Tokyo, coming in, defending champion, we were in the semifinals. I was the #1 seed in the semifinals. All things were looking as if I was going to have a chance to repeat, right? It's a sport, anything can happen.
Yeah.
But things were on pace. And I had a freak accident, collided with another athlete, and ended up having a traumatic brain injury, 4 brain bleeds, and was in a coma for a few days. So I didn't get to finish the competition. I did not. I still qualified for the finals because I had performed so well throughout the day. But I was, instead of competing in the finals, I was in an ambulance fighting for my life.
In a coma.
And that was, I don't have much memory from that experience. From the things I've heard from my family and people in my world about what that was like, it's tough just to even talk about it sometimes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I made a full recovery. I'm here. I'm having this conversation with you. I'll be commentating the Olympics this summer. I get to wake up in the morning and decide what I want to do that day, right? And it gives you a completely different perspective on life, where that morning of that event in Tokyo, I thought that the worst thing that could possibly happen is that I finished 4th in a photo finish. That was what I thought the worst thing could be. Today, I recognize now that there was a lot worse things that could have happened than getting 4th.
You could have lost a whole lot more, obviously.
A whole lot more. And it just has gave me a completely different view on life and gratitude and being thankful and appreciating everything and not sweating the small stuff quite as much. And I just have a very broad perspective, having won and nearly died.
Almost lost, yeah. I would assume you also have like a huge appreciation for your family and what they ended up having to go through during that time. The fact that it was during COVID, and the fact that they were not even in Tokyo and they're only getting all this stuff secondhand information and not being able to, to not even having friends and family or even doctors necessarily in the hospital room with you that can kind of give them updates and whatnot. So have you spoken with them about just like what they had to go through?
Yes, and I've apologized profusely. I said, look, this wasn't on purpose. I didn't try to have this happen, but all at the same time, I'm sorry this happened.
Yeah.
I've heard some stories. The further away we get, the more comfortable people get talking about it and sharing their perspective, right? I mean, even this past May, I was at the World Championships, which were held here in America, in South Carolina. And I was talking to the Team USA team doctor, and she was telling me some of the stories from being in the ambulance, because she rode in the ambulance with me.
Oh, wow.
And so even now, 3 years later, I'm hearing stories that I didn't know. But yeah, talking to my parents and stuff, it's, I couldn't imagine what that was like going through that for them, being here, being so helpless, watching it live on TV,
That's the thing,
not knowing if their son was going to be okay, not knowing what was happening, and basically every time the phone rang or the text message ding went off, they didn't know what it was going to possibly be. But we all thankfully got through it, and we're all here, and everybody's, on the other side of it. And I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
No, neither would I. I mean, obviously, I'm happy that you made such a full recovery. I wonder, what about the doctor that you spoke with when you were in South Carolina? What kind of stuff did she share with you, if I could ask? About being in the you were in a coma at that point?
I wasn't in. I mean, I don't know the definition of coma,
Okay.
unconscious, but I was unconscious, and the ambulance wasn't moving as fast as it should be moving, and she couldn't communicate with the other people because
they're
they're all
Japanese.
and they were doing. They had different protocols than we have. So there was just some things going on there, as well as like she's on the phone with my parents in the ambulance, trying to update them on what's going on. Like there was, nightmare scenarios.
And it's
for
COVID.
everybody. Yeah.
And it's COVID, so I mean, she's going through whatever kind of protocols and all the kind of stuff they got to go. Goodness gracious. So, an interesting story, well, I guess it is now, the fact that you were in a coma for 5 days, you said? And then when you came out, I guess folks tried to contact you?
Well, yeah, so I was, in a hospital in Japan during COVID.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, a hospital, even at the best of times, they don't just let anybody come in, right?
Sure.
There's the rules and regulations, and so many people can be in a room. But during COVID, it was nobody. So I woke up and I was only around people that spoke Japanese. So nobody could tell me what was happening. So last thing I remember, I was warming up for the Olympics, and then I wake up. And,
in a hospital.
And so the doctors and nurses point at my phone, which is on my bedside table. I pull my phone out, and it's 500 text messages, like everybody I've ever met, right? Because it's happening on primetime television. There's no hiding from it. Everybody saw it. So I'm opening that, and all of a sudden I see everybody I've ever met to ask me if I'm okay, praying for me, this, that, the other. And then I move over and I open up something else, and it's just every major news outlet you can think of, NBC, BBC, ABC, CBS, Fox, CNN, like everything you could think of, updating on this Olympic athlete who is fighting for their life.
This Olympic athlete, that's me.
That's me. And so I'm piecing it all together, and then I see the video of what happened, and then I'm seeing it all in live time, and my brain's not working properly because I had 4 brain bleeds. Like my brain's not okay.
You just came out of a coma.
And then as I contacted my family, and they contacted the Team USA doctor, who was the one person allowed in.
Yeah.
And then he comes in and begins assessing me. But the problem is I didn't know him before the accident.
That's
one of the most important things when you have a head injury is to get somebody around you who knows you to say this is. First off, if you recognize them.
Yeah.
But then secondly, yes, they're behaving how they normally behave, or no, they're not.
He's always wild looking.
And so they, I guess I can talk about it now, but another person who I know may or may not have lied about their role and who they were to get into the hospital to be able to get in front of me so I can recognize them.
He didn't have like a mustache and glasses or anything like that.
No. He just may or may not have. I cannot confirm nor deny. He may or may not have said he was someone that he wasn't.
Gotcha.
To get access.
For the greater good.
And then from there, it was kind of just assessing how I was doing. Mm-hmm. And then, I was there for a few days, I think about a week before I was cleared to fly home. Flew home and immediately went to neurological rehab and brain rehab. And then that was about 6 months of intensive, and then it backed off for another 6 months before about a year later I was fully cleared.
A year later, you're fully clear.
And then my reward for getting, my brain health much better after a few months was shoulder reconstruction, because I also wrecked my shoulder. But they didn't want to put me back under until my brain was in a better place. So all in all, ended up being a 12-month process to being told that you have, we believe, made a full recovery. There's no way to test it. But we believe I have.
Wow. Well, fantastic. When a lot of people are happy that you're still here, that you have made that full recovery. But I wonder, but the fact that you have that, do you have some, I guess, a new appreciation for like a lot of these movies that come out that when guys like have, amnesia and don't know who they are and everything else, like, you have a real life Jason Bourne. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I kind of went through that sort of thing. So,
do you remember anything from the race at all?
Last thing I remember was asking the coaches if we're on a rain delay, because it was raining that morning.
Yeah.
So we were warming up and it started raining, and I asked if we were on a rain delay. Next thing I know, I was in the hospital. So I have no memory of that. So I do kind of understand that amnesia and trying to piece together.
Yeah.
You know, for me, the unique thing, and I remember when I was in brain rehabilitation, kind of going through this, most people when they have a significant brain injury, a traumatic brain injury, it's not on video.
Ah, that's true.
A car accident, or you know, they're in construction and they fall off a ladder, whatever it may be.
That's true.
It's not filmed.
Yeah.
Mine was filmed from 25 different camera angles, slow-mo, you know, I got everything, right? So I don't remember the race or the competition because it wasn't the first race of the day. I did 2 before that. I can go back and watch those events, but
you don't remember those either?
No, it's like an out-of-body experience. Like I have 0 from that. So it's a weird kind of conundrum for me. I don't like to do it. It's not fun for me to go back and think about it. I don't shy away from talking about it because it is part of my life.
Yeah.
But you know, on a casual Friday night, I'm not going to sit around and be like, let's watch some races.
Let's watch when I almost died. Oh yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, that's okay. So now, I guess the fact that you kind of keep your life at like a glass half full kind of guy, 3/4. I want to say after talking to you.
Overflown.
It's overflowing. Absolutely. After talking to you, that kind of leads you to like your next step in life, and the fact that you go around and you do a lot of, you know, public speaking and motivational speaking, keynote speaking around the country, around the world. No,
I've done some stuff in Canada, so I guess you could say North America.
Yes, you're international, baby. You're international. Like, how is that?
It's amazing, right? I think for me, you know, this is my life, this is my story, so it doesn't seem crazy because I don't know anything different.
True.
But the fact that I can take my experiences and I can share things that I've learned, and inspire, help, motivate, push other people to their own greatness or their own perspective or their own gratitude is an amazing feeling.
Yeah.
And when I am able to do that, and then I can get the feedback and people come tell me like, you really motivated me to achieve this goal of mine, or you really changed my perspective. I thought that this thing happening to me was the worst thing ever, but when I put it in a perspective, you taught me about that.
Yeah.
That is really impactful. And I think for me, because I came from an individual sport, I had to inherently be selfish a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? I wasn't helping my teammates. I didn't have a team. I was helping me. I'm on team me, you know?
Team me.
So this is an amazing way for me to kind of fill my cup and give back to others and help others and push others, motivate others, and it's really rewarding for me.
Did you ever know that it somewhat be your calling in the sense, I mean, you're doing media now, you know, you do keynote speaking, like you're an athlete and you've ridden your bike, but I mean, you're very good at talking. You know what I mean? Like, is that you ever thought you'd have like that kind of skill set that'd be your path after?
Maybe. I mean, my mom always told me that I should be in broadcasting when I was younger. So maybe Mama knows best. You know, but I do actually remember when I was 19 getting ready for my first Olympics, we had media training and I wasn't acing it. You know, it wasn't natural for me.
Really?
But I think just like with most things in life, you know, if you work at it and you commit to doing the work and you push yourself and you genuinely want to improve at it, then you can. And that's what I did. And I also think that it doesn't matter what I do, I only know how to do things one way, and that's to try to win one of these.
Yeah.
So if I'm gonna broadcast the Olympics this summer, I'm doing all the homework. I'm gonna try to do my absolute best that I can.
Yeah.
If I'm giving a keynote speech for a company, I am gonna practice until I have that thing memorized front, back, sideways, up, down. Like, I only know how to do things the gold medal way. So I think that
you can say that.
That helps me with that.
and you can say that the gold medal way.
Yeah.
You may have said that a time or two.
Maybe a time or 12.
Yeah, there we go. And it doesn't really stop there. I mean, the fact that PBS, you also have a show here in Las Vegas, which basically covers the state, but you're on this side of the camera talking and discovering what we have here in Nevada?
Absolutely. It's been a blast. You know, I'm a Nevadan. I've lived here my whole life.
Yeah.
Green Valley High School, UNLV. I've traveled all around the world, and I always loved that I could tell people when they asked where I was from, that I was from Las Vegas, and nobody said, "Where's that?" That never happened. Everybody always would say,
That's true.
"What? Wow." Or they would say, "You live in Vegas? How do you stay focused?" And I have to say, we don't all live on the strip. And you know, I'm not a crap stealer, right? Like there are ways that you can be focused and not around that all the time.
Yes.
Here, right? But we do have the option to go do it. If I want to go play craps, I can.
Yes.
Right? But
Yes.
it doesn't mean I have to.
Yeah.
I think that's the
They don't force you to go play craps every day?
No, and I'm not good at it. I lose my money.
Okay.
But I think that's the distinction that a lot of people that don't live in Vegas don't understand.
Yeah.
Is that we are a huge community with so many options and things to do.
1000%.
And I always would credit being from Vegas to a lot of my success for teaching me some discipline, because you had to be disciplined.
Yes.
But also having such an amazing place to grow up. But being able to highlight not just Vegas, but my entire state, and go all around the state and learn just how diverse and how amazing this state is, has been an amazing experience. And being able to share that with the residents of Vegas and Nevada through PBS Vegas, but it also goes nationwide. So people,
it does?
Oh, it does. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
And people from Iowa are getting to learn about Nevada, which is amazing.
That's really cool.
And I think that's really great. And I've been shocked at just how much Nevada has. And I have changed some of my vacation plans to go to places in Nevada because everybody thinks, oh, Utah and Colorado, they've got all the beauty,
That's
right?
all they talk about, really.
But did you know Nevada has a glacier?
I had no idea that Nevada had a glacier.
When you think Nevada, you don't think glacier.
No, I think hot.
Right, we've got a glacier, Great Basin National Park.
Is that like very far from here?
About 3.5, 4 hours.
That's pretty cool.
There are so
Okay.
many different species of plant, animal, and fish that live here in Nevada that are only here in Nevada.
See, that really that surprises me greatly. I mean, yeah.
I've been surprised. When I get the script of where we're going, I said, what? This is here in Nevada? And that happens to me all the time, and that's why I love sharing it, because so many people are the same as you and I, and they don't know that we have all of this.
Yeah.
They think it's Vegas, Reno, and Area 51 in the middle that we're not allowed to go to, right? But there's so many amazing places, history, going to ghost towns and old mining camps and things like that has been amazing.
That's pretty cool.
Learning the history of Nevada, as well as the people. There are some really amazing people and businesses here in Nevada that are so unique and so special, and it's my honor really to highlight that to the world.
Yeah, and the fact that I had no idea, but it's Vegas PBS. It's national.
So it goes on YouTube, and people from wherever can watch on YouTube.
Yeah,
so
okay,
after it airs on PBS, it also goes on to PBS's streaming service.
That makes
so people can stream it from wherever, and then some of the best episodes will go national.
Yeah.
So they'll be broadcast nationally as well.
Wow. Have you had someone recognize you or talk to you like, hey, I seen your show on PBS?
Yeah, it's happened. It's happened a few times here, and I tell you where it happens most is in some of the smaller towns throughout Nevada.
Okay.
So when we are in, if we go and highlight a small town, right? So last season when we were filming, we were highlighting some of these towns and some of the amazing things around these towns. And the whole town gets excited because we're showing off their town.
Really cool, yeah.
So that this season when we're filming again and we're back in that town, people recognize me because they were so proud of that. So that's been a new experience. I'm used to being recognized for being a BMX.
Exactly.
Right? And now it's being recognized for something else. And people would always want to ask questions like, what's the Olympics like? Or what do you do for training? Or they would ask a BMX question.
Yeah.
Now they ask a different question. What's your favorite part of Nevada? Or they would ask, what's the coolest thing you've gotten to do in Nevada? What was your favorite thing of last season? Things like that.
See, I was just gonna ask you that.
Which one?
About what's your your favorite part of like doing your show? Like, what's something you discovered that's like, wow, I really didn't know that.
I think just the range and the diversity throughout Nevada.
Okay.
Right? We're down here in the southern part in Vegas, and there is a very specific way that the whole area looks.
Yeah.
And the animals and plants that call this area home.
Yeah.
But then we go to the middle of Nevada and it's different. And we go to northern Nevada and it's different again.
Very different, yeah.
We just did a story on moose, because moose have naturally moved and settled into northeastern Nevada.
Everyone's coming to Nevada?
Moose. Yeah. Real estate prices up there are going to go up in the moose. But when you think about Nevada, do you think about moose?
No, I do not.
Moose live here.
Yeah.
And like things like that are so shocking. Or just outside of Pahrump, we did a story this year, just outside of Pahrump, there is a fish called the Devil's Hole pupfish that has lived in this one small area for thousands of years.
Thousands of
years. It's lived in this one small area and nowhere else in the entire world other than about an hour and a half north here and just outside of Pahrump. And that's it. And so
amazing.
there is an entire study area. I don't even know what you would call it. Lab.
Yeah.
Study area. Lab.
That
There's
works.
an entire lab where they study that fish to learn about some of the history and the genetics and things like that to preserve not only that fish but other endangered species around the world.
Okay.
But that's going on just an hour and a half north of here. I had no idea.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Thousands of years they have like a specific fish here in the person who actually found that out. Like I don't even know how you even.
That's
beyond me.
That's above my pay grade. I get the script. What are we doing? Oh, that's cool. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, that's beyond my pay grade too. So lastly, I have to ask you this. I mean, you've been in Nevada for a very long time. Did you ever think that Nevada would be like the sports town that it is?
Oh,
I mean,
heck no. I mean, I remember growing up here and always hearing that we would never have a sports team.
Yeah, I didn't think so
And
either.
being jealous of my friends who lived in other towns and they had a sports team, or everybody's parents who had moved here from other places, they had their teams, right? And then I remember when the Knights came, I'd only ever watched one hockey game.
exactly.
One.
Yeah.
It was the 2010 Olympic final. Team USA, Canada, the golden goal, when Sidney Crosby scored it in overtime. And I remember watching that, and I thought it was cool, but I thought, I'm never going to watch hockey. Why would I?
Yeah.
And so when the Knights moved here, I was like, all right, I guess I'm a hockey fan now. Like, it didn't matter what sport was coming. We were all just excited to get a team. And then now to see it go from that to, we also got the Raiders. The A's are
Aces?
coming.
Yeah.
The A's are coming. The Aces are champions, back-to-back champions.
Back-to-back.
Formula One is here.
Yeah.
The Super Bowl was just here.
That's
The draft just happened at the Sphere, NHL draft. Like,
Yeah.
all of this stuff is just crazy. And if you would have told me this 10 years ago even, I'd have been like, heck no, you're dreaming. And it's exciting, it's fun, but one of my favorite things, and this is such a simple thing I think for a lot of other people in other towns, but if you're from New York, Philadelphia, you're from Boston, this is not exciting to you, but if you're from Vegas, I can go to a grocery store, I can go to a gas station, somebody's got a Knights hat on, it's hockey season,
Yeah.
and I can say, hey, did you catch the game last night?
You're like, you know.
That goal was crazy, whatever
Yeah.
it was, right? But we never used to be able to do something as simple as, did you catch the game last night?
This is true.
You go to Boston in baseball playoffs or something, and you ask somebody if they caught the game last night, everybody knows what you're talking about.
Red Sox all day, every day.
But when you're here, we didn't have that. We never did, because everybody was watching their teams from all other cities. So now just to have that one uniting thing that brings us all together as Las Vegans,
Yeah.
I think that that's really cool.
I mean, that whole Vegas-born thing, sports really connects people. You know, whatever kind of ethnicity, culture, whatever, your background, that sports connect people, and the Vegas Knights have really connected Las Vegas in a big way, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
I couldn't agree with that more. And on top of it, did you ever think that they would have that kind of experience at a game? Because I mean, you've been to a ton of different venues for all kinds of stuff, but the energy that's inside of
Oh, it's the best. I remember, I think it was year one, maybe year two, I went to see the Knights play the Kings in LA. And that was my first time going to an NHL game that wasn't at T-Mobile. And I was like, where's all the fun? like, sure, the game's fun and the game's great, right?
Yeah.
But where's the pomp and circumstance?
Yeah,
right?
baby.
But I love how the rest of the league has had to adapt and grow because
Big
of
time.
what's happened here. And, you know, of course, some of the traditionalists want to keep it about the game.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, when the game is playing, it is only about the game.
Yeah, of course.
None of the extra stuff happens during gameplay.
No.
But my favorite thing is about how the Knights said, whether the team wins or the team loses, we want people to enjoy their experience at the game. And they thought the team wasn't going to be very good. What were the odds? 200 to 1 when they came out? Like, we were supposed to be the bottom of the league.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden we had the best game experience and the best team, and then rocket fuel, you know, to the moon.
To the moon. This is, yeah. Did you know, have you seen the dragon? You know, they got a dragon in there now?
Do they? Is that new?
Yeah, they debuted, I want to say during the playoffs. It was only like a few
So it's
games
brand
or
new.
whatever. Yeah, it's brand new. But up where the castle is at, there's a dragon.
There's always something new. Always something.
Always something, always something. All right, so you're heading to do the Olympics sometime at the end of the month, right? July something.
End of July, I'll be flying out getting ready for that.
There you go. All right, so you have the Olympics. So Connor Fields were the Olympic gold medalist, Southern Nevada Sports Hall of Famer, graduate for the Gators of Green Valley High School.
Green Valley Gators.
There we go.
UNLV.
UNLV is, yeah, you got to remember the running rebs and everything as well. There's a million accolades. How many times a world champion?
2.
2 times a world champion, not just United world champion. You can actually, that's wow. Okay. When you won the world championships before, besides the Olympics, did they medal or is it a trophy?
It's a medal.
It's a medal as well. So you got more gold at home.
I have a handful, yeah.
I appreciate you coming in and talking with me. You like seeing the pictures in the back, huh?
Yeah. It's funny because I don't look at this every day.
Yeah, you don't sit at home and look at pictures.
And it's on the big screen. It's kind of cool to look at.
You know what's odd? Well, I'm saying this. A lot of times when I'm doing interviews, I put this stuff together myself. Like basketball players, football players, I can always see them when they're looking at it because it's eye catching, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, you're doing your job right. It's eye catching. You know well, but it's the video in the back right now playing is the winning race from Rio, and I don't watch that often.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, it's Tuesday. Pull it up.
But I mean, that's a fantastic time. I mean, man, jumping into the arms of
coaches, training partners.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Okay, Connor Fields, everybody. I got to get this guy out of here.